third fight on the card. This is probably probably my second favorite fight on the card.
Okay.
It's a welterweight matchup between Kevin Lee going up against Daniel Rodriguez. First, we got Kevin Lee, who's 18-6 and is the -150 favorite, whereas Daniel Rodriguez is 15-2 and is the +125 underdog. What do you think of this matchup?
I think that this is a very interesting matchup, man. It's a very interesting matchup in Kevin Lee's welterweight debut. Kevin Lee is returning after 1 year layoff due to an injury and is moving up in weight. I believe that this is a risky move for Kevin Lee, as he's going to be one of the smaller fighters in the division in terms of height. But as far as like his reach advantage, he's got a 77-inch reach advantage. And if you put that against the top 10 of the UFC welterweights, he has a smaller reach than one person, and that's Neil Magny. So you think about going in 5'9" with a 77-inch reach advantage. I thought pretty advantageous as far as keeping distance. It's also beneficial for him because he has really good movement. You know what I mean? So he's got a good gas tank and he can move faster. This fight is going to be determined on how Lee approaches this matchup with Rodriguez. Rodriguez is heavy-handed and throws a lot with average accuracy. He also takes a good amount of punches per minute, which could be good for Lee, but Lee's also a little more calculated and likes to pick his shot, like we saw in the Gregor Gillespie fight. He uses his striking to set up takedowns and attempts about 3 per fight, whereas Rodriguez is a great test for Lee because he has those heavy hands and also has a very good takedown defense at 83%. I'm conflicted with this fight, but I'm actually going to go with the underdog, Daniel Rodriguez, by decision.
First, I got Kevin Lee. He tends to not move his head off the center line and is stiff on his feet. He will switch stances occasionally, but is not good on the back foot. He has a good snapping body kick, but drops his hands often when doing so. He likes to throw a snap and jab and the 1s and 2s. He has slow overhand strikes when he uses them, and he's slow to bring his jab back when he throws it. He has great timing on his level changes and has a nice reactive double leg takedown. Lee also has a nice single leg takedown along the fence and a good body lock into leg trips in the clinch. He has good efficiency when taking his opponent's back on the mat and looks for a triangle or rear naked chokes and hammer fists. He is very good at controlling his opponents when on top. He has good takedown defense and transitions. He tends to slow down in competitive fights and has a suspect chin. Then you got Daniel Rodriguez, who's a southpaw who's smooth on his feet and uses good boxing. He has smooth hands and likes to throw off both his front and back foot. He has a nice snap and jab that he constantly spams, and he uses a check right hook when the opponent tries to close distance. He tends to not defend a takedown well and uses the guillotine to attack the takedown entries of his opponent. He has great cardio, a good chin, and he always puts on high volume punch-wise in his fights. This was kind of hard for me because when you look at it, you got to put in the fact that Kevin Lee's come back. I think it's actually almost 2 years, almost. Well, maybe it's a year and a half. Because he had not just one knee, but he had surgery on both knees. So not only is he moving up a division from lightweight to welterweight, but he's also coming in on after this is his first fight post-surgery. So that's like a double whammy there where he's going to be facing bigger guys and then doing it where he might not even be 100% right away. And Daniel Rodriguez is arguably one of the best strikers in the division boxing wise, and he's going to put in the volume and he's going to throw a lot, especially with Kevin Lee being kind of slow with his striking. A lot of his throws are kind of like laggy where he throws it, but then his comeback is kind of slow. And I think even with his kicks, so I think Daniel Rodriguez is going to target that. He's going to know that Kevin Lee will throw, but he's going to target when he releases on his jab and he's going to do it right afterwards. So he's going to try and connect, and then he's going to try and connect with combinations. So it's going to be like for every one punch Lee puts in, I feel like Daniel Rodriguez is going to game plan to do 2 or 3 right afterwards, knowing that he'll have the faster release and then come back. But like the thing that makes this tougher is the fact that I feel like if Kevin Lee can wrestle at 100%, that's going to be like the the X factor, because he'll be able to limit what Daniel Rodriguez is going to do by just putting him on the mat and then keeping him there, because your best friend against somebody with the high volume striking is not letting them strike. And that's what happens when you take a guy down, especially with Rodriguez, who struggles against defending it. But in this, like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Rodriguez is gonna win this by I can't believe I'm saying this, but by decision. Like I wanted to say knockout, but I still think that Kevin Lee will be able to withstand a lot of the punching. Like, I wanted to say second round knockout, but I feel like it's going to be a battle of the takedown and then the striking, because I do think Rodriguez is going to get taken down, but I feel like he's going to be able to get up and then just rack up the volume, because I feel like going into this, Kevin Lee is going to be 80%. I don't think he's going to be 100%. And I think at the end of the day, with a bigger guy and then bad knees, it's going to be hard for him to do all that work that he likes to do wrestling-wise, especially in your first fight. I think a year from now, he might be good, because he'll have that time in the octagon. But I think right now, I got to favor Daniel Rodriguez by unanimous decision.
I think you're underestimating Daniel Rodriguez's takedown defense. You said he struggles. He's got 83%. That's pretty damn good. Kevin Lee is a great wrestler, right? But one thing that we're missing, in my opinion, is that Kevin Lee, when he was a lightweight, he was a big lightweight. So there was a pretty big weight cut. There's not going to be that big of a weight cut come down now, so because he's obviously moving up. So we might see a more energized, less depleted Kevin Lee. You know what I mean? So he might.
Just remember, Mike Perry. It wasn't that hard for him to take down Daniel Rodriguez, and Mike Perry is known for his striking. He's not known for being a wrestler, and he took him down with ease.
But Mike Perry's like ridiculously strong. He's like strong as an ox. The way I see Kevin Lee, it's funny because it's kind of like, if he gets on a roll, it sets up a rematch between him and Michael Chiesa, right? That whole press conference where he was talking about his mom and all that crazy stuff. But like when Chiesa moved up, he looked unbeatable, right? But then he ran into Vicente Luque. This could be Kevin Lee's opportunity to kind of get on track, but he's moving up into, I think, an even more dangerous division than where he was at lightweight. That top 10 is super dangerous.
And to me, Daniel Rodriguez is the guy that's going to move into that top 10, just because of the way he moves, the way he has that knockout power with that jab. That jab is just pretty when you see him throw it. Like it's like amazing. And people are going to doubt him just because he lost to Nicholas Dalby, who, if you think about it, he lost to Tim Means, and then Rodriguez beat Tim Means. So it's like, hey, it's all about matchups and how
Styles
you favor.
Make fight.
Styles makes fights, and I'm scared off by the double knee surgery. Yeah. And like, maybe if this wasn't his first fight, I might be more 50-50 on it. But with this, I'm going Daniel Rodriguez. I'm scared away from Kevin Lee. I'm
with you. I mean, I picked Rodriguez too. So I mean, we just started arguing about our picks and we picked the identical one, right? It's crazy. But like, Kevin Lee's Kevin Lee, right? He challenged for the title at one point, so he does have that experience.